I am curious about development, since you were talking about building this stuff. Like, how does AI help either in actual development, or does it have special requirements that are purely about building AI? Like, I'm just curious if I've read about both cases that you can develop more quickly using AI technologies.
Right.
But I also imagine that development of AI within the workplace is also, requires a special development skills. I don't know if that's something you...
Well, that's really what the move is all about, is to get out of that. You need a development life cycle. It's a plug and play world that people are trying to get to, where you have the ability to drag and drop, if you like, different cognitive skills into a virtual robot. And that's certainly our vision of we call them our 6 skills of the intelligent digital workforce. And we work with our partners to bring together an ecosystem, because there's when you think about your own knowledge, there's so many different domains of knowledge you have. There's so many industries. I mean, it's almost infinite, the combination of industry and task and function. And so, we believe is sort of, if you can create the cassette which you can player, you can slot all these different skill sets into, and skill cassettes of different domain knowledge, which have been built and available as literally a drag and drop environment. If you remember Joe 90, we probably remember Joe 90.
Yeah, we do.
Where he was a fictional character, and he was only a kid. But
was he?
Yeah, he was. He was
fictional.
And he could put a pair of glasses on.
I didn't know that.
He had a pair of special glasses, and he went into a machine,
Yeah.
and suddenly he was a fighter pilot, or he was a helicopter pilot. It taught him the skills that he needed to do to go and do that.
VR.
Yeah,
extended reality.
Yeah,
that's
that's
right.
virtual
Yeah.
reality.
Sorry, Pam.
No, I was just going to say that, from our perspective, we're really seeing the need to think about the skills and capabilities we have in our organisation. And similarly, we're seeing our clients have to do the same. So, you think about analysing conversation. And so we're seeing the growth and the need for conversational analysts, conversational designers, in order to be able to program conversational cognitive robots that understand natural language.
Right, so that's a certain skill.
And so, the other thing as well, you think about the AI in terms of being able to comprehend and respond. That's often what we're seeing there, is the need for more data scientists to be able to understand, and help to program the algorithms, learn from the algorithms, all of that. So there are absolutely new skills that are going to be required and are required. And I think that's going to be one of the challenges as well, is how quickly we can develop those skills.
Leslie, I wonder if you could extend that thought a little bit. So as people are now going to school, or starting out in the workplace, it sounds like they're going to need a different skill set than maybe they did 5 years ago.
I'll come to that. Let me just back off because to frame that, I think there's an awful lot of scare headlines about job loss, but you've just heard that they've just got a lot more people than they ever did, and they're needing new people with new skills. And that's quite a common finding across the board when you go into corporates. There's skill shortages they talk about. Actually, skill shortages not just in the new technologies, but in doing existing work, which is why they're automating. There's a dramatic increase in the amount of work going on. But a lot of the studies don't factor in job creation as a result of emerging technologies. And yet, historically, more jobs have been created than lost as a result of the application of technologies. It depends on your time horizon. But you're quite right, there's this transition period, and this is what the big issue is, the transition period. It's not about job loss, actually. It's about job reconfiguration, because there's no reason why the jobs that you invented to suit those technologies will optimize around these technologies. It's about how you combine different tasks together into jobs. That's the critical. And the skills game is this, that low skills we've got a huge surplus of. Medium and high skills we've got a massive shortage of.
Just on low skills, you mean more like manual labor?
Yeah,
or?
manual repetitive,
repetitive
or cognitive
tasks.
repetitive. One study said that there were about a surplus of about 100 million in the world of low skills, but a shortage of medium and high skills of about 95 million by the year 2020. So you can see what the game is.
Right.
Now, going to that, yes, we need the STEM skills. the ones that Pam's describing, you know, I always forget what STEM
Science,
stands for.
Science,
but Science, technology,
engineering,
and mathematics. But we also need the skills that machines can't replicate. And that's, again, a greatly underestimated area. And that's what, you know, interestingly, at the London School of Economics, when we say what sort of people do we want to produce, well, we want to produce STEM people, but they've actually got to be human as well, you know, and so critical thinking comes up, interaction with people comes up. And Pam will tell you that, I think that in her organization, they need these human skills. They're absolutely vital. The ability to get on with people, empathy, leadership, delegation, all these sorts of things. You could go on for 40 minutes of the things that humans need to bring to the workplace that machines just can't do, whatever the technologists say. So my point is that the education system needs to be running on both fronts. And they're pretty bad at that, actually. Our university systems, our secondary education system, our government, and our corporations are not willing to invest in the training.
Pat, do you ever find like a CIO realizing like, oh gosh, I don't like have any of these skills. Like, I'm all about just pure technology. Do you see fear in people's eyes? Yeah.
Well, they're actually, for technologists, they're quite a resistant bunch to change. You think
That's very true. But they are. Including when it comes to automation. Don't we do that already?
Don't we do that already? We've already got the
true.
tools to do that. And you say, well, actually, no, this is something new. And then they become the biggest advocates once they understand it gets the monkey off the back in a way. It's suddenly there's all this extra capacity to make smart new things in their organization. And every organization wants to move faster, they want to be more agile, they want zero latency, they want zero friction. They're trying to build dynamic modern businesses where they're sort of getting rid of the shackles of legacy. But if you can reimagine that legacy, if you can repurpose it by putting an intelligent robot layer around it, then actually it becomes, again, going back to our Maslow's, it actually becomes an incredibly useful asset. And you might say, well, actually, let's let our old accounting system carry on, because it does accounting very well. But let's put a dynamic layer across it of intelligent robots and have the business operate them and train them and configure them daily even. And it's that change of cadence, it's that ability to react and have the business function to build it. And that goes back to that democratization idea. So we're democratizing automation as we speak, and the next thing is democratizing this cognitive automation and taking it to the next level.
The long-term impact, Leslie, on job creation and what is really happening there, and what does it feel like in an organization as I don't want to say the robots take over, but the robots move in.
Most of the figures on this are complete speculation, but I'll talk about what those figures might be. But from extrapolating from our evidence of increasing technologization or robotization of the workforce, we think that for every 20 jobs lost, about 13 will be created in organizations, and it will become some of it will be on the technical side, some of it will be restructured work. Some of it will be new products, new services, new things to do. And a lot of it is from something that's never been analyzed, but I think it's my only original thing I bring to this debate, other than my brain, which is that there's a dramatic increase in the amount of work to be done in corporations. And this is never factored into the job loss equations. They assume that a steady amount of work is occurring, therefore if you automate some of it, there will be big job loss. But if there is an exponential growth in the amount of work to be done, then the equation changes quickly. And if you also add in that there are skills shortages, and in some countries like China and Japan, they are really short of people because of the demographic, there is a much more complex picture here about where the jobs are going to be, how many jobs there are, and who's going to be disadvantaged than any of the studies I've read makes.
And I think mentioning Japan, they have an increasing amount of work to do. As Leslie said, new products, new markets, speed of new products to market, insatiable customer demand for new stuff. So virtually every industry, even very static industries, have got to do more. More legislation, more new products, more new markets, M&A activity, just globalization, just new people coming online that need new products. So, as you say, Leslie, I think the work that needs to be done is going up actually a lot faster than we think. The capacity to do it with humans is remaining the same. So robots and AI is filling the gap.
The gap there.
And that's in Japan. They are unbelievably excited about the idea of introducing AI and robots into white-collar work because they did it in blue-collar work. You know, they did it incredibly well. So why are they, the most successful car manufacturers in the world? Because they use automation and robots to build cars, and they're reliable and they're configurable, and they're, and it's that putting, the human together and bridging that gap. I think it really is. I mean, you've looked at over 100 companies, and you didn't find any job losses that could be attributed.
Not significant job losses.
No. And they were retraining, as you said.
They were retraining people, yeah.